Have you ever wished that your Microbit could listen to you? Well, it can. In this project, we're going to build a clapometer to measure the amount of noise in the room. For this project, we're going to need the BBC Microbit, the EduBit board, the EDU sensor, and most importantly, the SoundBit sensor with a microphone. So here we are in MakeCode, and we're going to plot a graph on the LED display. So we go to the LED drawer, click that and drag out the block plot bar graph inside the forever block. And the variable that we're going to need is in the special EduBit extension. Once you've installed the extension, go to the SoundBit drawer and drag out the sound level variable and insert that into the plot bar graph. Now it should plot a bar graph of the sound level up to 0. We need to change the 0 to the maximum, which is 1023. Let's download that to the Microbit and see if it works. So I've downloaded the code to the Microbit and remembered to switch on the EduBit board by moving the switch from the up off position to the down on position, and you should be able to see as I've been speaking that the graph on the Microbit is changing according to the loudness of my voice. Let's try clapping. So there it is, a clapometer. Here we are back in MakeCode, and for this part of the video we're going to set up 3 separate modes. Mode 0 is the kind of default mode that we'll start with. Mode 1 occurs when you press button A, and mode 2 when you trigger the infrared sensor. So when we start executing the program, the first thing we do is clear the screen and set the mode variable, which is set up using variables in the variables drawer, to 0. The second block, when button A is pressed, we set the mode variable to 1 and also set another variable called highest to 0. This is going to keep track of what the highest level of sound is. And in the third block, when the infrared sensor is triggered, we change the mode to 2. Now we need to control what happens in each of those 3 modes. So we're going to use a forever block with an if, else conditional. In the first part, we check to see whether the mode is 1. In the second part, we check to see whether it's mode 2. And otherwise, we assume the mode is 0. Now we need to control what happens for each of those modes. For mode 1, the first thing we do is set the loudness variable to the level of sound from the sound bit. If that loudness is greater than the highest level so far, then we set highest to be loudness. That means that we maintain what the highest level of loudness is in the highest variable. And then we plot a bar graph of the highest level up to 1023 as we did before. In the second condition, mode 2, what we do is show the highest level on the Microbit display. And in the third case, mode 0, we just display a default heart icon. So let's test it out. I've downloaded the code onto my Microbit, and the first thing I have to do is turn on the EduBit board by moving the switch from the up off position to the down on position. We get the default heart. That was mode 0 if you remember, and what we need to do is trigger it to measure the loudness by pressing button A. I'm going to press button A on the EduBit board. Immediately I've got a very low bar graph, but if I clap very gently I can get it to go a bit higher That's the highest level so far. And if I clap even more loudly, it goes to the full level. Let's try that again. But this time I'm going to trigger the infrared sensor. You can see if I trigger it now, it says it's 373 on the volume level. Now let's do some clapping. Press button A, some loud clapping, and if we press the infrared or trigger the infrared sensor, you can see that the volume level is now 998, nearly the maximum of 1023. So it works. I hope you found that useful. If you did, please click the like button down here. You'll also find over here, there's the hex code for you to download and use. You've been listening to Chris Evans. See you next time.